سلام و خیلی خوش اومدین به یه ویدیو دیگه با من. توی این سری اپیزودهای 20 تایی کتاب Vocabulary for IELTS سطح Advanced رو در قالب 20 تا اپیزود پادکست بهتون کامل آموزش میدم. کل لغات، عبارات، اصطلاحات و گرامرهای فوق حرفه‌ای که احتیاج دارین تا توی اسپیکینگ و رایتینگ آیلتستون عملکرد بهتری داشته باشید براتون جدا کردم و توی این پادکست آموزش میدم. این کتاب یه جلد دیگه هم داره، لول اینترمدییت هستش که توی این پلیلیست اون هم در قالب 20 اپیزود پادکست و PDF آموزش دادم. راستی وقتی که این پادکست رو گوش میدید فایل های PDF هم در کنارش هست که میتونی عضو بشی توی کانال تلگرام. فایل های PDF رو با طراحی، کیفیت و دیزاین بالا دانلودشون کنی و پرینتشون کنی. حالا نکته مهم و سوالی که ممکنه برات پیش بیاد: چطوری این پادکست ها رو گوش بدم؟ چطوری از این ویدیوها استفاده کنم؟ نحوه درست استفاده کردن از این ویدیوها، گوش دادن به این پادکست ها و کلا خوندن این کتاب رو در قالب یه ویدیو انتهای صحبت هم بهت توی مراحل متفاوت میگم. یادت نره تمام مراحلی که توی این ویدیو بهت میگم و تک به تک اجرا کنی تا بتونی به بهترین نحو ممکن این کتاب رو بخونی و لغات و اصطلاحاتش رو توی اسپیکینگ و رایتینگت استفاده کنی. بریم سراغ درس 4 از کتاب Vocab for IELTS سطح Advanced. توی این درس در مورد کشف‌های علمی، اکتشافات شیمی و تأثیر این اکتشافات و کلاً شیمی توی زندگی روزمره‌مون صحبت می‌کنیم. پس تا ادامه ویدیو همراه هم باش. Hello everyone and welcome back to Saharcast. We are going to analyze Unit 4 together about science, chemistry, and responsibility. Hi again and welcome back to Saharcast. It's Sahar here. In this episode, we're talking about something that is part of almost every moment of our daily life, even if you don't notice it. Chemicals. From the capsules we take when we're sick to the pesticides used on our food to the emissions in the air that we breathe, chemicals are everywhere. But are we using them safely? Are they helping us or slowly harming us? Let's explore this topic with the help of some great vocabulary, natural expressions, and grammar tricks to sound careful, clear, and fluent, just like a Band 7+ IELTS candidate. Let's say you have a cold. You take a capsule. It contains a compound of chemicals designed to fight infection. But you later experience some side effects, maybe a rash or dizziness. That's a common experience, and here are some real IELTS level words from it. Capsule. It is a small medicine container you swallow. Compound. A mixture of elements and chemicals. Infection. It's an illness caused by bacteria or viruses. Side effects. Unexpected or unwanted results of medicine. Dose. The correct amount of medicine to take. Now think bigger. Imagine spraying pesticides on vegetables to kill insects. Those chemicals might contaminate the soil. Then animals eat those plants. And we eat the animals. This is called the food chain. And now it's not just health. It's about the planet too. Emissions. Emissions. These are gases like carbon dioxide released into the air. Petrochemicals. Petrochemicals. These are chemicals made from oil. Exposure. Exposure. Being in contact with harmful substances. Contaminated. Contaminated. Polluted or made dirty. Release. Release. When something harmful is let into the environment. And not all of this is bad. Some chemicals are absolutely essential to our survival. Others, well, highly controversial. Let's learn a grammar tip together. Be careful with adverbs. Let's say something is absolutely essential, which is 100% necessary. This is strong. You cannot use absolutely with any adjective. Highly dangerous, very dangerous, but not the strongest word. Extremely effective, extremely effective, a strong but safe way to describe a medicine. Slightly contaminated, slightly contaminated, just a little unsafe. Slightly means a little. An IELTS tip? Use adverbs like these to sound precise, not too general, not too dramatic. Now let's practice some IELTS speaking part 3 sample answers together. Do you think there is enough control over the use of chemicals in our society? Well, not really. I think in many places there is still slightly too much freedom when it comes to chemicals used, especially in agriculture and industry. Some factories release carbon dioxide and other gases without any proper limits, and this has extremely harmful effects on the environment. There should be highly strict regulations, especially for products that enter the food chain. Even a slightly contaminated water can lead to health risks over time. Next one. Do you think we're too dependent on chemicals today? Absolutely yes. Chemicals are part of our lives from the moment we wake up. We use organic shampoo, take capsules for pain, clean with strong disinfectants, and eat processed food full of artificial compounds. Of course, some of these are completely necessary, like antibiotics for bacterial infections, but I believe we've become extremely dependent even if natural solutions exist. Number 3. Who should be responsible for chemical pills that damage the environment? That is a difficult question. I mean, to a certain extent, pharmaceutical companies must take responsibility. If a product causes side effects or contaminates water after disposal, they should be highly accountable. But I also think governments must educate the public about safe disposal and proper dosage, not just leave it to the market. So really, it is a shared responsibility. Do you think there is enough control over the use of medicine in today's society? Well, that's a difficult question actually. I mean, to a certain extent, there are rules and safety standards, but in many countries, I don't think they're strong enough. For example, factories and farms still release a lot of carbon dioxide, pesticides, and other substances into the air and water without proper limits. The problem is, even a slightly contaminated food or water can cause long-term health problems. And once something enters the food chain, it is very hard to remove. So I'd say we need highly strict controls, especially when it comes to exposure to dangerous chemicals. We depend on chemicals, that is absolutely true, but that doesn't mean we should accept poor regulation. Do you think people today are too dependent on chemicals? Well, not really, or at least not everyone. But I do think that in modern society, chemicals are involved in almost every part of our life. From the capsules we take for a simple headache to the compound ingredients in the shampoo, we use them all the time without thinking. In my opinion, we've become extremely dependent, especially when it comes to medicine. Some of these substances are absolutely essential, like antibiotics or vaccines. but others like preservatives in junk food or strong household cleaners may do more harm than good. I think we should be more aware of what we are using. Just because a product is available does not mean it is completely safe, especially in large doses or with long-term exposure. How do you think our attitude toward chemicals will change in the future? Well, it depends on the situation. I believe if the problems with pollution, illness, and contaminated food continue, I think people will become highly cautious about chemicals, especially artificial ones. In fact, we're already seeing more interest in organic food and natural cleaning products. I would be surprised if in the next 10 to 20 years many consumers completely avoid anything made with petrochemicals or pesticides. That said, I don't think we'll ever stop using chemicals altogether. Some of them are still essential, especially in medicine, where we need strong reactions to treat disease or prevent infections. Sorry. Okay. Um, so the attitude will change. Yes, but not in an extreme way. I'll be more about balance and highly responsible use rather than fear or rejection. Let's move to an IELTS Part 2 sample answer. Describe a scientific discovery or invention related to chemistry or medicine. You should say, what is it? How it was discovered, what it's used for, and explain how it has affected people's lives. One of the most essential discoveries in modern medicine is penicillin, the first antibiotic used to treat bacterial infections. It was discovered almost by accident by Alexander Fleming in 1928 when he noticed that a certain amount of mold killed bacteria in his lab. That mold became the first source of penicillin. Before this, people often died from small infections which today seem minor. Penicillin completely transformed how doctors treat diseases. It is usually taken in capsule form, and it is still one of the most widely used drugs in the world. Of course, like all medicines, it has side effects, and today we're also facing antibiotic resistance, a situation where bacteria no longer respond to treatment due to overuse. But even with those problems, I'd say penicillin was absolutely crucial discovery that saved millions of lives. Another Part 2 sample. Describe a scientific event related to chemistry or medicine. I'd like to talk about the recent development of COVID-19 vaccines, which I think it is one of the most important scientific events of my lifetime. These vaccines were developed at an unprecedented speed. These vaccines were developed at an unprecedented speed. Within about a year, using cutting-edge techniques like mRNA technology, normally vaccines take years to test and approve. So this was both controversial and revolutionary. The main use, of course, was to prevent the spread of coronavirus and reduce hospitalization. For billions of people, receiving the vaccine meant protection not only for themselves, but also for their communities. What really impressed me was how global collaboration played a role. Scientists across countries shared data, and pharmaceutical companies worked around the clock. At the same time, it raised debates about the side effects, safety, and long-term consequences, which are natural when something new is rolled out so quickly. Still, I believe the development of COVID-19 vaccines showed the immense power of modern science. It was not only a medical breakthrough but also a social and political milestone because it shaped the way governments, communities, and individuals dealt with crisis. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. Don't forget to subscribe so that you wouldn't miss the next episodes. See you in the next ones.